I wouldn't think so. The off the field stuff, they're going to shy away from that probably until it gets resolved. They let another murderer in the 90s. Hold on. They let another murderer in the 90s. I bet you if they could, they would have waited. Like, might not want to put this guy in this fraternity just yet.
Hey,
I don't think, because you got to think about it. T.O. had, look, should AB be first of all, let me say this. Should he be a first ballot based on what he did
Ray
on
Charles
the
will
field?
see that.
Yes. But with T.O., they changed the bylaws. They said what you did off the field and what you did in the locker room or on the sidelines could be weighed against you.
So you see how they did that, You see how they were able to move the goalposts? You see how they were able to move the goalposts and having the power to control? Having the power to be able to control when and who not to let in when the criteria for making the Pro Football Hall of Fame is conducted and based off what you do in between the goddamn lines. So now we're making it personal.
They changed it.
Yeah, they changed it. They changed it for in their favor. So if you don't conduct yourselves in the manner in which we see fit away from the game of football, now we can chastise you for it. We can chastise you for it. I mean, listen, AB is a bona fide Hall of Famer, no matter what. I understand what he's done off the field. I even understand some of the stuff he's done on the field. But when it was time to go, when you talk about the story, and you talk about some of the greatest NFL receivers that ever played this I almost curse. Greatest receivers that ever played this game. You can't tell the story without mentioning Antonio goddamn Brown.
You're right. I think he's talking about OJ, but OJ was already in. That's the one thing about that fraternity. Once you're in, they can't take you out. You're there for perpetuity. So I think he was talking about OJ, but OJ was already in, so there's nothing you can do. Now maybe at USC they removed some of his paraphernalia, or they took him. I don't know, but in the NFL, once you go into that building, you're in that building. I just think the thing is, Ocho, I just think he's going to have to wait. They made T.O. wait 3 rounds. If T.O.'s not a first ballot Hall of Famer, the man had the third most catches. I think at the time of his retirement, he had the second most receiving yards, over 1,000 yards. There's only been 3 men that's been a first team All-Pro with 3 different men, with 3 different teams. Deion Sanders, Ted Hendricks, and one T.O. So 3 men in the history of the game has been a first team All-Pro with 3 different teams. T.O. led San Francisco in yards. He led Buffalo in yards. He led Philly in yards. He led Dallas in yards. He led Cincinnati. 5 teams. 5.
Yeah.
T.O. the first ballot.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the fact that they hold so much power. They control everything.
Yeah.
They're able to control everything. And you have players that played extremely well at a very high level, consistently for a very long time. And you have people that are able to control, and it affects a lot of players that want to be a part of that fraternity so bad. You want to be, so you have to pander to it. It's out of your control. So if you can't even be yourself. You have to be something different. You have to conform to what they want you to be like while you're playing the game in order to be a part of this over here. Because of what it means. One of the greatest, if not the greatest achievement as an NFL player. But boy.
And the thing is, I mean, I don't know if he's talking about OJ, but OJ was acquitted. Now, you might think he did it, or he know who did it, or he had something to do, but he went before 12 men and women, and they said not guilty. After that, we can come up with conjecture and speculation and innuendo all we want. But at the end of the day, he went before a jury of his peers, and they heard all the evidence, and they said not guilty. But like I said, is AB a Hall of Famer? Yes. Do I think he's going to have a hard time getting in based on his history of his off-the-field activity and the way he conducted himself in Pittsburgh? Because you got to realize, Ocho, when you go before the board, somebody, Ed Bouchette, would probably have to be his presenter. So he would have to get up there and say, okay, Antonio Brown had this many catches, had this, and this. But also, so you see how that goes? Now, some guys like, hey, Tom Brady got to go say,
Steelers Nation, it's time. We've seen storms hitting Pittsburgh from every direction this season. Losses, frustration, doubt, anger, and now more troubling revelations about the culture and direction of our team. But in the middle of all that noise, change is happening. And what we choose to do now might define who we are for the rest of 2025 and beyond. Recently, a former Steeler spoke out. Breiden Fehoko, once part of this organization, sat down on local radio and dropped bombshells about what went on behind closed doors, about clashes between Minkah Fitzpatrick and the coaching staff led by Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin. According to Fehoko, it started during a 2023 game against Green Bay. Fitzpatrick had a headset. Austin called the defensive signal, and Minkah, unhappy with the call, pushed back. Tomlin didn't like that. The discussion turned into a timeout, and from there, that moment became a sign of a rift, not only between player and coaches, but between philosophies. This wasn't a one-off. According to Fehoko, Fitzpatrick had been vocal about his displeasure with the scheme and the way things were being handled. And after signing a big extension, instead of becoming a leader, he became a problem. The locker room started to fracture, the culture started to fray, and the price of that fracture was high. So in 2025, when the Steelers traded away one of the best safeties of the last decade and part of the franchise's backbone, many fans were shocked. Minkah Fitzpatrick, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, gone. But what club executives and coaches told the public was that it was a difficult decision, yet necessary. The return? Veteran cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith. Yes, losing Fitzpatrick hurts. He was a proven playmaker, a leader, someone fans trusted. But sometimes the shine wears off. In the last 2 seasons, after his extension, his splash plays diminished, his impact faded, and his cap hit soared into the tens of millions. The Steelers, as some analysts pointed out, were starting to pay big for diminishing returns. Despite the controversy and the whispers, the Steelers' front office and coaching staff made their move. And maybe, just maybe, this shakeup was the jolt the organization needed. Ramsey brings versatility and physicality. Smith offers offensive potential. If Pittsburgh can integrate them the right way, with the right mindset, maybe they can build something more stable, more modern. And truth is, in the NFL, when you cling too long to the past, you get left behind. But culture change doesn't stop with trades. It takes accountability. It takes willingness to adapt. And it takes the right people to buy in. If the locker room is truly ready to rebuild trust, to rebuild focus, then this could be the moment the Steelers flip the script. Because the critics are loud now. The leaks are coming. The doubt is spreading. But as fans, as believers in black and gold, we have a responsibility to hold this team to a higher standard, to demand cohesion, demand clarity, demand results. And maybe this episode with Minkah Fitzpatrick was more than just a trade. Maybe it was a wake-up call, a message that we won't tolerate entitlement, silence, or disrespect. That here, you earn your spot every week. That here, the badge matters more than the paycheck. The team matters more than the individual. If that's the direction we head, if Ramsey and Smith step in, if the younger players seize the moment, if coaches adapt and players buy in, then Pittsburgh might rise from these ashes. The 2025 season might not be over. The identity of this franchise might get redefined. And the fans, us, will stand by, proud, watching that transformation. So you tell me, Steelers Nation, do you believe this shakeup can lead to something real? Do you think the trade of Fitzpatrick was painful but necessary? Or do you fear it cost us more than we can recover? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you still believe. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because this story, this fight, is just beginning.